Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again.
With anime in our souls and thoughts of wrestling out of control, we are a group of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling event of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all nerds out there. So, grab your steel chair, yell for the table, get put through an experience unlike any other. We're brought to you by Anime We Studio, and this is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the show. Hopefully, your Mondays and your week started out fairly well, fairly decently, and all that. We've got Money in the Bank this weekend, and we've got two main roster shows ahead of us to set up and kind of give us our some go home sweetness, some good home goodness before the show on Saturday. A 4-match card, mind you, starting at 7, so we might have an early night that night. I don't know. We'll see when the night comes around.
I feel like that's good because it starts early. That 3 p.m. with wrestling behind that with Worlds Collide and other people doing like a double duty.
Yeah, we got tons of double duties going on. We're not going to mention any. I mean, we might mention some of these releases that happened throughout the weekend, but we'll have a deeper discussion about that later on this week. But of course, welcome as always, everyone. Welcome to our returning viewers. Nice to see you guys out there and engaging with us and all that. But if you're new here and you're wondering, who are these three jerk offs that are just on my YouTube screen right now? Well, quick introductions as always. Of course, I am your world champion Watkins here to help guide us through these wrestling shows and help us, stay on the path towards greatness. And of course, I am never alone in that endeavor. There are two lovely gentlemen with me. First and foremost, to the right of my shoulders, we have the man known as a visionary. He's known as a revolutionary. And of course, he is probably going to be the most positive person on this show tonight. Because, one of us is not a very happy camper regarding WWE at all. But hopefully, maybe this positive person can shed some light on some happiness and joy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the side part. Legendy Vash. Vash, how you doing?
Welcome, everyone. It's your boy, the Visionary, Legendy Vash, and a Grande Americano winning that did piss me off. This one did stink. Even though me and Watkins did predicted this during the watch along they were watching on our Discord while we're hanging out, and it pissed me the fuck off. We said that might be happening, and it did happen. There's a few other things that kind of. Even the vibe going into tonight, I believe I tweeted as well saying that I wasn't even feeling raw tonight. It was just like a sour taste in the air. I even texted Walker like, yo, like, is it just me? It just don't feel a good type of weekend. I saw a few other content creators, saying the same. So I'm glad I wasn't the only bowl. So chat, if you felt the same, let me know in the comment because I was hyped to talk with the team and talk about the show, either the bad or the good and the ugly, because there was honestly no good, it was just bad and ugly. But just to discuss and see how can we feel better about it and brainstorm. But to actually watch it was fun to watch it as a group. But if it was solo, I would have been very distracted very much.
Yeah, it was a show. That's all I'm gonna say. But of course, someone to help us maybe process some of these stories going on. We have the man that is known as the genius of the mat. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage. Drop this box. Drop, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And when it comes to the show tonight, I mean, there was only a couple things I really liked, so I can't really say that I disliked everything in the show. Like, when it comes to the showcase they gave Stephanie, when it came to the vignette before she came out, I thought that was needed to really establish who she is. So if I were to name an early highlight before we dive into that, that's probably one of the things, because when I get into these shows, regardless if it's like a Raw or SmackDown, NXT, etc., so on, I'm only here for like certain things, not everything. So as long as I get a couple things I'll be okay with, but also when it comes to obviously what me and Watkins discussed on Friday, when it comes to certain circumstances, sometimes you gotta just let that out when it comes to certain segment repeating like twice in a row, like you're in fucking Groundhog Day. But it's another story for another time.
Yeah. Or something similar might be said tonight. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see when we get into the show proper. So let's kind of just dive right in with our headline story. We've got our Money in the Bank qualifier matches, our final qualifying matches for both the men's and the women's ladder matches on Saturday. The field is set now, guys. We can finally start kind of theorizing, start kind of predicting who might win each and one. And stay tuned for the channel for our predictions to come up later on this week. But yeah, so our men's match, our men's qualifying match, which ended the night, which is our main event, as it should be when you look at the lineup here.
Yeah.
First of all, El Grande Americano, which we'll get to here in just a second.
Yeah.
Versus CM Punk versus AJ Styles. Now
That's a
on
plus
paper,
right there. Those two.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. Like, dude, they started locking up. I was actually asking Vash during our call and watching it. I couldn't recall how long it's been since AJ and Punk locked up with each other. And I was thinking, okay, well, it could have been like, it was probably all the way back in like ROH. And
Yeah, it's probably.
yeah, it's been about like 20 years since they've done anything with each other. So it was good to see them lock it up a little bit here tonight.
Yep.
But of course, they have this third man here of El Grande Americano. The match was fine. I mean, there was some setup earlier tonight too, with some backstage segments with like Paul Heyman confronting AJ Styles, CM Punk starting the night off, and all that. And we'll get to those here in a second. But I think we need to just kind of just rip the Band-Aid off about the match itself.
Yeah.
The match was okay. Like the match was fine and all that. It's just we kind of got the tease earlier on the night that okay, Punk's team is going to be not Punk's team, sorry. Seth's team is going to be costing Punk now the match. So, okay, fine. As long as AJ gets in, right? Because nobody's going to screw him over, right? No, he gets bumped by the guys fighting on the outside. And that's enough time for old Grande to just hit him in the head with a headbutt and get the win. So now a Grande Americano is in the ladder match. This sucks. This absolutely garbage sucks. All right.
You know what's funny? When we saw the promo of the 6 people, you know that meme when you have the 3 people, I mean the 3 dragons that looks like 2 of them look cool and then the right one looks like dumb and stupid, like just have the tongue out.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. I saw 5 great superstars that are gonna be in this Money in the Bank, and then we have the clown in the corner in Grande Americano. Of like, why?
Here's the thing. It's like, it's fine for Chad Gable himself. Like the man Chad Gable, yes, get in the match, show off a little bit. Yes, all of the yes, so that way you can get a paycheck, and so you can hopefully continue to get put up the card and all that. My problem lies in that it's not Chad Gable being booked in this match.
No.
It's freaking El Grande Americano. And like that gimmick needs to start dying.
Yeah.
Like it needs to go away. And the thing is too, like, and this goes for for Stephanie as well. They're playing double duty now. Like, they're going to have to wrestle both at this Worlds Collide event, which AAA is going to be bringing their A game for that thing, which means the WWE talent will also be bringing their A game for that event. And that's only 4 hours. Like, the start of Worlds Collide is only 4 hours before Money in the Bank starts.
Mm-hmm.
And we know none of the ladder matches are main eventing. Because we were already told, oh, the freaking tag team match is going to be main eventing.
Yeah, of John Cena and the Jey Uso Logan Paul and Cody.
So it's like, part of me hopes that Stephanie and Chad are at least healthy throughout that weekend. Because again, they're going to have to bring their A games not only for a match against AAA talent, but ladder match for each of them. Like, ladder matches are no joke. So hopefully they're safe from all that, but like, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right. And especially with like just the past 24 hours, and just like even me in general, like I'm pretty sure I've said it on on the show a few times, like there's just been something with this company for the better part of this whole year. Like this whole 2025, there's just been some like just gnawing, just demonic demon just like eating at my ear about WWE, and it's really been ticking me off. I'm like, I don't know what's going on anymore. Like it just feels like there's a lot of bad faith going on. Some of the booking, some of the writing for some of these characters are it just doesn't feel right, you know? And I'm just sitting here like, okay, well, I want to enjoy this product that you're giving me because I like wrestling. I like this, quote unquote sport or sports entertainment or whatever have you. But when you're like a CEO and you're telling me, oh, just shut up and watch, then I start kind of tuning out. Then I start kind of getting pissed off because it's like, okay, don't tell me what to do. Like, I'm gonna say what I want. I'm gonna do what I want because I like things and I don't like things. Just like the crowd tonight with some of their wonderful chants tonight saying, "Oh, we want truth throughout the night," and
Yep.
other chants of "What's up."
Eucalyptus.
There were some chants for Carlito too. Like, and you had stars wearing shirts of these two, like throughout the night. You want to know why Rhea was wearing a sports bra during that segment with Stephanie Vaquer? It wasn't because, it's mommy and she's a beautiful woman, which yes she is, but it's also because if you check Twitter and all that, she was wearing a good old R-Truth shirt. Which means they probably told her, "Hey, don't wear that on TV."
Yep.
I don't know. You guys go. I don't want to sit here and bitch and moan because like
No.
I have my own issues with like what's been going on the past like 6 months, and it's like it's starting to come to a boil now, and it's just like it's really just agonizing. Like, what is
Yeah.
this company doing with just with anything, you know?
Yeah, so I'll take a stab at it when it comes to this
Go ahead.
Grande Americano thing because this has been an ongoing issue with me for quite some time. I get the whole thing in the beginning where it was supposed to be funny, but after a while things get old and you really need to move on from it. That's why I'm kind of hoping during possibly this weekend, fingers crossed, that this comes to an end. Possibly someone rips off the mask during the Money in the Bank ladder match because I mean, I'm honestly getting tired of it because when I looked at this match, I looked at it both ways when it came to Punk and Styles. I looked at Punk and I was like, okay, I know Punk's not going to win the match, but I can see there being a bigger story coming to us when it comes to, okay, so Punk knows that Seth is in the match. And it honestly goes along with what Sami said earlier in the show, where it's like, I want you to win because you know what's in stake. So if I had to pick out something I liked, I did like the opening segment because if I was in that position and I wanted to stop the bad guy from achieving, the ultimate evil, I obviously would want to be put into that position to make sure that the briefcase is in my possession. That way, Seth doesn't get the power to cash in whenever he wants. So when it came to that whole thing, I liked it. And that's the sort of story arc I saw with CM Punk in his position of him taking part in Money in the Bank. AJ Styles, I honestly looked at it as another great asset to the match. You can't really go wrong with somebody like AJ Styles. So when it came to those two guys, if it was Punk or Styles, I wouldn't have minded either one. If I'm being perfectly honest, either one would have been 100% fine with me. My main issue with this whole Al Grande Americano thing, it's just very weird at this point. Like, he's getting booked really strong. He's starting to do the same shit that John Cena's doing with the fucking touching someone's balls all the time when it comes to the whole fucking thing with I'm pretty sure he did the same fucking bullshit he always does, where he puts that little piece in his fucking mask, and that's probably how he got the pin on AJ Styles to win the match itself. I'm getting tired of that shit. Somebody needs to put that in the end, and I know for a fucking fact that shit's not gonna slide in Money in the Bank ladder match because you can't win matches that way. You got to grab the briefcase, buddy. So that guy, I'm honestly hoping gets the living shit beaten out of him in that fucking match when it comes to a Mexican destroyer on a ladder or getting a stomp on the ladder or something. This guy needs, honestly, it needs to come to a point where the all fucking 5 of those guys just team up on him. It's like, it's just becoming like an issue at this point. It's like,
Mhm.
I know how great of a talent Gable is. I want to see whatever you're doing with Al Grande Americano thrown at him. And we know he's the same person, but the way that you're booking Al Grande is the way that Gable should be booked, because if you're comparing both of these characters right now, Gable's continuing to be booked as a loser, losing all these matches. He's obviously going to lose to Vikingo during that AAA show, and then Al Grande Americano is just going to have like some big moment within the match itself where he's doing some super crazy ultimate spot, whatever you want to call it, and then they're going to go along with that whole thing. So it's like, I just don't really care about it when it comes to him.
Mhm.
It just really annoys me, especially, you know, getting a win over like AJ Styles, like out of all people. It's like, what is the end goal here? Because he doesn't have any titles. He's not going after a world title or mid-card title or whatever the case may be. So what is it? Is it just clowning everybody, trying to be in the spotlight all the time? Like, what's the end goal here? That's why I'm hoping it comes to a point we gotta rip this mask off. We gotta put an end to it, because we went along with it at first for it to be this meme, but now it's just becoming really annoying, because I was even talking to a couple of my friends about it, and they're like, you know, come on, we gotta really figure out what we're doing here, because we're just running in a circle at this point, and pretty much like a chicken with its head cut off, just fucking running around until it just passes out and dies. It's just really agitating.
And that's the thing. It's like El Grande Americano should be part of. Okay, with like the whole end game with that, everybody thought it was going to end with this Worlds Collide event with like a mask versus mask match.
Yes.
Yeah,
Everyone thought that. That's not the case. Okay, we're going to keep extending it. All right, fine. My fear now tonight is that El Grande Americano is going to win Money in the Bank. That's my fear right now, because like you had mentioned it. You had mentioned it, Drop. They book El Grande a lot stronger than Chad Gable.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine them giving the Money in the Bank briefcase to El Grande Americano
Dear Lord.
instead of Chad Gable. You know, so now Chad Gable, like, because I could totally freaking see the company doing that. Where it's like, oh, well, Chad's not the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, but let me just don this mask. Oh, I'm El Grande Americano. Gracias. And cashes in on a title. And that's how Chad Gable gets his first world title, is through means of El Grande Americano. And that's bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah, it really is.
I don't want that as a consumer.
Not,
I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't either, because it's like, even when I'm looking at the match itself, the only two people I would be okay with is either Seth or Knight. Like that's the only two people I really want to win this match. Seth, I get it, because if he gets the Ultimate Evil, it would be an intriguing story to see exactly what sort of direction it could go down. But with the LA Knight thing, like we talked about before, Watkins, when we cover, you know, SmackDown, we got to figure out what the next direction is for this guy. He could easily win it. He can get drafted, get put on another show. He could start his whole journey there, and it would be like the beginning. It would be like writing a new book, you know, starting from chapter 1 when it comes to him. So it's like, you got two other guys you could see a possible direction, and then, I mean, the El Grande Americano thing, I mean, honestly, that's just like nightmare fuel. Just imagining that in my head, because I could see him doing something like that. And it's funny, because it's like we see an easy direction. Because it's almost like that meme where you see the one guy in the middle and he has to look at both sides. Let's say, for example, there was that side where you got Seth on the left, you got LA Knight on the right, and then you got El Grande Americano in the middle, where the guy just keeps moving forward. He ends up entering this cave, a whole bunch of thorns, a whole bunch of, like, you know, spiky roads where his feet's gonna get all fucked up and crushed. That's the sort of bizarre direction I can see them doing if they go down with that, because it's like, even though we're talking about it right now, and people might stumble across this and be like, don't worry, guys, that's not gonna happen. I mean, you never know, just based on what they're doing with the guy. That's the sad, that's the crazy thing.
Yeah. And I mean, to kind of backtrack too, with the opening segment, I mean, it was performed well.
Yeah.
But I'm just, first of all, I'm sitting there like, okay, Seth's kind of justified in a lot of things that he's doing. So for Sami to be like, "Oh, Punk, you have to win," it's like this isn't Roman he's facing. You know, this isn't like AEW, like, the other side of the coin, where it's like, "Oh, you guys have to defeat the Death Riders to get that title back. Like, you have to do this." Like, I'm not feeling that have to feeling that they're trying to get across. So like with Sami coming out there being like, "You have to do this," I'm like, okay, fine. And I mean, I get it. It's like, okay, we're gonna stop the ultimate evil before it has power, but it's like, Seth actually evil? Like, he's just kind
In
of
their
looking out
eyes,
for
in their eyes.
himself.
Yeah, he could
And
easily
so,
bring
like,
up that
I
whole
mean, the
promo he
opening
had
segment, I
that
was
one
just
week.
like, okay, well, I mean, yeah. Yeah, so like I'm just sitting there like, okay, you know what? I see what y'all are trying to do. Just, that I'm fine with, like, letting cook and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, it just, and
Yeah.
I just don't feel that sense of urgency when it comes to, oh, we have to take this from Seth. It's like, I mean, you guys are really doing a good job about it. I'll say that much. Uh, Especially you, Punk, who, like, you should be focusing on your match and not coming out to help other people. Like, you're you're proving Gunther right, who's not even involved in all this, but you're kind of proving him right on the side of, like, the Jey stuff, which we'll get into here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But Vash, why don't you go ahead? What are your thoughts of just like the match, the opening promo? We haven't even talked about the Paul Heyman AJ part yet, which adds something to it all.
So I like how both you and Job gave each other a passionate rant about the chatty cable, the storyline, because I'm not going to add more than what you guys both said, because I highly agree. The storyline of the chatty cable and Grande Americano is getting stale. We all three of us have been theorizing since February, at least that I can remember, that World Collide could have been the moment where they could have just revealed it, end the story, and call it a day. And I agree. Once Walker said the idea, yo, imagine if Grande Americano wins the Money in the Bank, I'll be fucking pissed. I'll be pissed on that Saturday, aka this coming Saturday. I'll be pissed. I'll be cursing here in Spanish. I'll be cursing with anger because it's like, with Triple H not sure who to blame or now or where to throw the shade at, but to have the goalie or the goalposts continue being moved when it comes to the talent of Chad Gable. He re-signed his contract, but then we have, as you guys mentioned, his booking not as good when it comes to the actual persona of Chad Gable, but his twisted one, again, Americano is getting more opportunities. And what we expected was the twist. And Grande Americano be at Worlds Collide and Chad Gable be Money in the Bank. I would have preferred that. I would have preferred that actually being the case if the roles of the characters would switch. I would have been no problem with that.
That's what I thought they were doing with the whole thing with him and Vikingo. I thought it was just going to be the both of them.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how it was at WrestleMania. Like when he took part in that match and a whole bunch of shenanigans played out. So surprised they just went with Gable instead of just throwing El Grande Americano in there.
Same. It was so confusing on why they did that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you have Work a lot. You have a Lucha Libre type of style of a match. Wouldn't the point of adding the guy that has been making fun of them, like in Grande Americano? Yeah, Chad Gable went and looked for the mask or looked the ways of the Lucha Libre. But he hasn't been really wrestling as it. He has a whole fucking twisted personality called Grande Americano. So, like, where's the point of this? It feels like it just feels like the lie just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and now they don't know where to go with it, so they just said, fuck it, let's just go crazy now. And that's not a good thing either.
Nope. No, it's not a good thing at all. But as I mentioned too, like there was another like segment to kind of help build up this match here tonight, because as AJ's kind of getting ready in the back, Paul Heyman actually comes up to him, and he's trying to coax AJ to kind of like forget about the Money in the Bank match and just kind of focus more on like Dom and the IC title. And I mean, AJ's not having any of this. I mean, he knows all about what Seth's trying to do. And this line he said where like everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Is that from something? Because like
I don't know.
he made it sound like, oh, everybody says this.
It doesn't ring a bell. I'm trying to think about
Yeah.
it. It doesn't feel like a comic or nothing recently of a movie or John Wick, nothing like that. It doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, I don't really know, to be perfectly honest. I mean,
Yeah.
I was trying to see if it referenced anything, because I know sometimes they like referencing like recent stuff, but it could just be him just being a smartass.
Probably also it was TNA or probably Bullet Club type of reference. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I know one of his lines apparently was a reference to like Tommy Dreamer in ECW. It was something like, oh, I forgot what it was. Somebody had pointed it out on Twitter, and I'm like, all right, that's cool, but I wasn't really watching wrestling at the time, so it's
Yeah.
like, all right, you made the reference, cool, dude, neat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad it wasn't the case where like Paul Heyman was trying to get AJ to be on their side more. It was
Yeah.
more like, hey, why focus on something where you can get a world title? You have the IC title there. Why not go for that? But I mean, you're telling somebody to go for silver place rather than gold.
Kind of fuck her already.
Like, why? What was your plan here, Paul? Did you really think somebody of AJ Styles' caliber was going to be like, oh yeah, you know what? You've got a point there, Paul. I'm gonna go right for the IC title instead of the world title. I'm gonna get the number 2 spot instead of the number 1 spot. That's a good idea.
Honestly, though, if I'm being 100% honest with you, Watkins, I think what I cared about more really in this match was just seeing those two together. Because it was just because we don't, because if you look at past comments that AJ has said about Paul Heyman, it was just kind of interesting just to see both of them on screen. So that's kind of what got me in this segment. Yeah, because I forgot what it was, but I know it was said in interviews and stuff that he's not really like the biggest fan of Paul Heyman because of whatever happened in their past. So just seeing them on screen,
I believe it was the Chris Van Light interview that he had recently.
No. This was way. That's older. This was like a few years ago.
Yeah.
It was when Carl and Anderson were. It was when Carl and Anderson first got released before they came back to the company.
Yeah.
Because there was a thing where Paul Heyman didn't really stick up for them to stay.
Yeah.
And AJ was pissed about that because like AJ ended up moving like the SmackDown or something.
Yeah.
Away from Paul after that because again, like he was like Paul Heyman said, yeah, I got y'all's back, and then Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows get released shortly after that. So there was some bad blood with those two because AJ was pissed.
Yep.
I thought the same thing too. I'm just like, oh, this is interesting. We have these two on camera right now.
Yeah.
All right, cool, neat, excellent. We're moving on to the other match because the other match is a lot more enjoyable because we had Stephanie Vaquer taking on Liv Morgan and Ivy Nile. I thought this was a good match. I had mentioned this to Vash as well. WWE has been getting a lot better with their triple threat matches. They still do kind of tend to fall back on their formula where it's like, oh, here's a one-on-one match for 2 minutes and here's another one. But like, especially the women, I feel like the women have done a really good job with like pacing triple threat matches to make them a little more fast paced, a little more like it's every woman for themselves and all that. Like we're actually getting 3 people fighting all the time, basically, or at least like 95% of the time. But yeah, I thought this was a really good match, some good spots. Of course, we're getting the best wrestling move alive, and I knew Pat McAfee was going to take up the role of Booker T, or excuse me, Gunner T in this instance. If you know, you know. He did in his own McAfee way, and honestly, I think the right woman won here. Again, it sucks that Stephanie's gonna have to pull double duty, but hopefully, she comes out fine and not too banged up after doing all that, and hopefully her and Chad can get to the arena on time.
I would like to add. I'm glad you said that the right person won because at first I thought I was gonna go to Liv Morgan in the beginning or early in the day, but once I thought about during the show, during those segments, Liv being involved, the Judgment Day, Raquel, Roxanne stuff going on, I'm like, she has a lot going on in one storyline. I don't think she's gonna join the Money in the Bank, and Stephanie Vaquer is a big enough star to also bring star power. So I feel like that was the right choice, and I'm happy with that because I would love to see Stephanie Valkyrie do what she does. And in a ladder match, it would be crazy. But best of luck. Hopefully, good can heal, travel, and be safely in that route.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, I thought the match was really good. Definitely one of the standout matches and moments of the night for me. But Drop, go ahead. What do you think of everything? Being the NXT guy around here, how's it feel to have Stephanie up on the main roster a lot earlier than, or maybe a lot later than we thought she was going to be?
Yeah, so I like the way that they presented her tonight, like I mentioned earlier, because you had everybody else have their own entrances. And then before she came out, you had a little vignette getting some insight about her when it comes to her story, where she started and where she is now, basically just having the audience connect with her. And then you had her come out, and I thought it was the right winner because if you noticed when it comes to the participants that are in the Money in the Bank, when it comes to three of them, you got Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, and Roxanne. Those are pretty much the new ladies that they called up from NXT, so they probably want to give them a proper showcase. So as soon as I saw Stephanie announced for this match, I was like, okay, she's not going to lose this thing. They're going to want to push her. They're obviously very they really do want to push her because she has like a big following behind her. And I would say, at least when it comes between her and Gable, I feel like at least with her being in a tag match, she probably won't. I guess like the best way to put it, like with her being in that tag match, she probably won't have to do much as Gable because you got Gable going up against Vikingo, and that's a challenge in itself. And then he has to do that whole thing with the Money in the Bank, which is going to be another hurdle. But at least when it comes to Stephanie Vaquer, you have her and Lola Vice that can tag each other in. I don't even think the match will probably go on super long. I'll say maybe a good 9-10 minutes tops, just looking at the people that they're going up against, because I know they're going over. I know there's like one of the people she's going up against like 50 or so years old. So I mean, I don't really see them.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I was pretty shocked about that.
Yeah, so it's like I don't see them going super long, just mainly looking at the other kind of matches that they have on the card. So I feel like when it comes to her, she'll get her spots here and there, but I feel like when she heads to the match itself, hopefully they place that match. I wouldn't start off the show with it. I would probably, if it's up to me, I'd probably put it before the main event. If that was me personally, if you really want to give her some time to just chill out and really collect her thoughts before she really gets into the ring. But I was really happy how everything turned out in this match. I thought it was really good. They were able to showcase what all of them were capable of. And she's going to the Money in the Bank. She had a moment with Rhea. Obviously, that's always a big thing because, Triple H has his favorites. So, you already have Pat McAfee doing the Booker T stuff. So I feel like she's going to have a fun time up here. And I'm really happy for her because, the crowd's already into her already. That's a plus. That's always a good thing. And like Vash said as well, you got Liv Morgan doing her own thing right now when it comes to whatever revolving around the Judgment Day. Plus, she has a tag title. So it's like you need to focus on whatever's going on with that because I can't even begin to tell you the last time that I even defended those titles. I don't even know who they're going to go up against. Because there really is anybody.
I think the last time was when they won the titles at WrestleMania. When they won the title at WrestleMania, or the day after.
Oh, that's a possibility. Yeah. Yeah, I think
that's crazy.
And Natalia are there. They're on Raw.
Yeah.
They had a nice little rub from Sheamus.
Yeah.
That is very true. But look, to add towards what Drop was saying, it just put me in perspective because what Drop says that we're watching La Primera since NXT in her indie days and being it, in Stardom in her and being part of the worldwide that she's been part of in professional wrestling. It's an interesting time, like just seeing where Io, Rhea Ripley, all the stars that we're watching now. I wonder how it's 10 years from now, seeing that the people that we grew up with, like Trish Stratus and other, like, oh, we've been watching them for 20 years now. They've been on our TV. Now we're gonna watch like Stephanie Vaquer and others continue their career. It's gonna be very intriguing because like this is her match, her first run on the main roster. So this being her first showcase now gets me more excited. Like us talking about this, that's the most positive thing I could say about this. Like Stephanie Vaquer, I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
For what drop brought earlier, and for Ivy now, do want to give a shout out to her. She has some good spots in this match as well. She has some spots with the double German suplex. It was I believe it was 2 spots of them. It was really good and entertaining in that spots for Ivy now. So I want to give a shout out for her. She had a good showcase. I believe once or twice it was during the commercial break, so most likely a few people did not see that, but it was a cool showcase though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just great matches overall. And I mean, again, both playing fields are set for the ladder matches, so we'll see on Saturday who's going to have that briefcase and who's going to get a shot at their respective world titles whenever they want, however they want, and all that. So, speaking of world titles, we're going to talk about our world title picture on Raw. We're not building up to the tag match. I guess, again, we're going to be saving that for Friday, which, honestly, good. Let's have Jey kind of focus, quote unquote. There's a reason I use big quotes for this. But yeah, let's have Jey just focus on Raw for his title defense that he has against Gunther next week on Raw. But before he gets there, him and Sami have to team up a little bit to go after. Oh my God! I just saw what you put on there.
Yeah, gotta fill a spot.
That gives me life right there.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. So Jey and Sami, they have to get a little bit of revenge after what happened at Saturday Night's main event because of Seth and his new Brons tagging with each other. Now, they came out with a mashed up theme song, between both Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. How'd you guys feel about that?
It wasn't bad, honestly. Was it horrible? It felt like a slow burn. Yeah. That's all I could say.
Yeah, I didn't mind it because I was used to it with like for Axiom and Nathan Fraser, because they did the same thing. They never really had a theme song. They just had both of their themes just going back and forth. So I thought it was a cool concept that they did. I mean, it's probably better they went along with that instead of an actual song. But God forbid, Def Rebel cooks up something else.
God forbid. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. I mean, nitpicky wise, I think, maybe work on some of the transitions between the songs, but again, that's being nitpicky with it and all that. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. I kind of agreed. I would rather a mashup of their songs rather than some other crappy Def Rebel thing and all that. But yeah, I mean, tag match on Raw. What do you expect other than a Raw style tag match between these two teams? Doesn't really have an ending either, because out comes Seth Rollins with a stomp onto Sami Zayn, and they end up starting to beat up Jey and Sami, and out comes Punk to save the day and all that. And that's when we get the tease again that, hey, they're not going to be done yet tonight. They're probably going to interfere in the main event, which they did. They cost Punk the match and all that. I mean, what more? I mean, I'm sure. Do you guys have anything more to say on that? Like, I don't have anything.
Yeah, I don't really
legitimately don't have anything.
I was actually expecting a little bit more out of this, if I'm being perfectly honest, because it's like one of the things that we were talking about on here is just eventually seeing Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed have some sort of tag match, and this was pretty much the beginning stages of this. So I thought it was going to go a little bit different tonight. instead of Seth Rollins coming out and just curb stomping. Who did he curb stomp? Jey?
It was. I think.
Yeah.
I think it was Jey. Now that I'm
Okay.
thinking back
But
on it.
what after the conclusion for this
I
match,
wasn't-
how like it should have gone, is that Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker, they win the match and pin Sami. I'm gonna kill Sami taking a pin by two of the biggest dude and from the heel faction. To me, if Sami took a pin, I don't think it would hurt his stock value or his ratio or nothing like that. So if he took the pin by Bronson Reed by doing super spear, and Bronson Reed is holding Jey outside in the ring, that would have seemed believable. But when Seth came out, I'm like, I don't mind it for the story progression, but that's not the progression. There's no development for it. It just stays stagnant. Unless you have Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed wins, it makes value. Right, Drop?
Yeah, so like I was about to get into, when it comes to like what transpired there, like I said, I thought things were going to be a little bit different because we saw the exact same shit play out later in the evening when it came to Seth Rollins coming out doing the exact same shit. So it's like, if you really want to just have Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed really do something, I mean, getting a win wouldn't be that bad of a thing to do, because if there was to be any sort of outcome in this match itself, it would probably end up being them winning because you have to continue establishing them. But it's like, it was just like really awkward, like the way this thing was paced, because when you look at the match on paper, you expected a different result than this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really weird to get this sort of ending when it comes to him just stomping him and then that's it. And then Punk comes out and then shenanigans play out again. Like you said, it's just a copy and pasting. They did it right now, and they did it a little bit later. Just didn't really make any sense to me the way that they orchestrated everything here. I don't understand why we got to keep repeating the exact same shit over and over again. Really awkward.
I don't either. Like, just
Like,
and I get.
If I may jump in, it gets me a bit frustrated as somebody who works in the entertainment, and saying that when Triple H and when Michael Cole also has said that this is a television story of sports entertainment, and this is starting to remind me of a CW type of show, where it's, in a 21 episode story, they have to stretch out or repeat little small nuggets of character development or copy and paste little small arguments from episode 2 to episode 8 or episode 5 to episode 10. It repeats. And this is starting to remind me of how Raw's kind of doing this now a bit too frequently, when Triple H says that we are storytellers. We are now within our own streaming service. But then when they have commercials or ads at the wrong time, it kind of fluctuates us being immersed within the product of what we were watching, and that really takes it away.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the heels really needed a win here. Like Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker needed to, like Drop said, establish themselves as a team, as a dominant team. Yeah, it would have sucked because Jey's your world champion losing a match, but that's the thing. Sami Zayn was his partner, and as much as I love Sami Zayn, he is an underdog character, which means he is somebody that will lose if it's something like this. And again, you want to sell these two guys as destroyers, as monsters, as forces to be reckoned with. Oh my God. Stop me with this one. Oh my God. They just beat the world champion and Sami Zayn. Like, again, like I said my comment about Sami Zayn being an underdog and all that, but like, he's somebody that doesn't give up. It takes a lot. Yeah, it takes a lot to get Sami Zayn down.
Good 5 tsunamis. Just do maybe 7. Good 7 tsunamis. He'll still survive and walk up.
Okay, give him 8.
Exactly.
It's
just very sad that, like, if you want us to feel this faction to be dominant, Triple H, you should have listened to Drop. He said it correctly, that these heel factions should have won because Seth
Yeah.
coming out, it just gives them a DQ. What the fuck does that do for them? Nothing. Paul
Yeah, I know.
Heyman is supposed to have them winning,
Yeah, it's like the
and
run.
they didn't get that.
It's like the run-ins only work every so often, but you can't keep doing them over and over again. When it matters and we see how it's laid out throughout the show, we could see it coming. Okay, I can understand it, but it's like Seth didn't really need to be here. If he wanted to be there during the Punk thing, okay, I get it. He doesn't like the guy. He doesn't want to see him advance. That was his whole goal when it came to costing him at Elimination Chamber and just costing CM Punk to main event a WrestleMania, which obviously he failed in that department, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's like, whatever he did before to stop Punk advancing anything, I get that. So if you want to show up towards the main event, okay, fine. But here, I mean, let the two guys that are working for you establish themselves, because you have this whole goal, how you want to have the World Heavyweight Championship and everything. You need to let them stride and do what they need to do in order to establish themselves, because those are two guys you don't want to keep pushing around, because they'll fucking eat you alive.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I just wanted more. And we know you could do more. We know you could be better and all that. And that's just going to be the nature of tonight's show, everybody. But like, to kind of carry on with all this, we did have a couple backstage segments after this match that I thought were a little bit more intriguing than what we got during the match. So, like, at first, we have Karrion Kross in the back talking with Sami Zayn. He thinks Sami Zayn's a liar. He needs to start worrying about himself, because if he would, he'd be a 10-time world champion by now. And I like how he said this. He's just like, you are a bad guy, just like all of us. I might be wrong, but I might be right too.
Yeah.
Like, I like that, because even though it's Sammy being like, oh yeah, you're wrong and all that, just like, yeah, I could be, but I could be the other thing. I could be right. So I like that with Karrion, because he's a good character.
Yeah.
And hey, you're at least on TV, so I appreciate that as well this week. You're actually on national television, so thank you. But like, he's a good guy to do that, to like tempt him, to make people think deeper and all that. That's why like his story with like is this whole like, oh, I'm changing people and all that. That's why like people are gravitating towards that, because he is right in a lot of these aspects with these people.
Good talk.
Yeah. Now, is Sami Zayn going to be turning heel? I mean, time will tell. I would rather him not.
Yeah, me either.
Like,
I don't want it.
Yeah, like I would rather him stick to like the right path, and then eventually, headcanon and fantasy booking and all that, win the Royal Rumble, face off against Seth, win the world title at WrestleMania. Like that's where my like fantasy booking goes, because like I don't want, me personally, I don't want Sammy to be a bad guy again.
Yeah, there's only
Like,
make any
because
sense.
we had him as a bad guy back when he was with the Bloodline, and that's when he turned face again when he did the chair shot to the back of Roman Reigns. So like, it's been a while, and we want him as the face because he fought KO, he fought his best friend, so he had his time as a heel. Right now, we enjoy the underdog story. We root for that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's his whole goal right here now when it comes to this whole program he has with Seth that's probably going to carry on throughout the year. So it's like turning him heel would be random. If you want to say one of those things where it's like him finding a little bit more about himself that might push him further to achieve whatever he wants to, that's a different story. But I don't think him turning heel is a good direction as well, because I do see some people online saying, okay, this is what Cross is doing, but maybe it's just Sammy just starting to be more aware of his surroundings, so he's not making all these mistakes. I'd rather see him kind of pick up on that if that were to be the end goal here when it comes to that.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't see a heel turn in his future, and then if there is, then make it convincing. Like,
and better than John Cena heel turn.
Well, that's a whole other discussion for a whole other day. But I'm glad you mentioned a world champion, because now we'll talk about the other world champion in Jey, because he was confronted by Gunther of all people, and I really, really liked. Like, if I had to pick a segment from the night, it might have been this moment. Just because like this is just casual Gunther, and he just sits down with Jey in the back in the locker room and all that, and he's just saying, "Hey, you know what? Being the world heavyweight champion, it's very personal to me, and I do appreciate what you're doing with the belt. Like, I like when Gunther actually, because like you could kind of tell that Gunther was being genuine in all this. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you know what, Jey, you've been putting in some good work. Yeah, you beat me for the title, but hey, you beat me for the title, and hey, you had a defense against Logan Paul, and you're doing all this wonderful stuff with the title. However, he reminds Jey that he's thinking too much with his heart instead of his head.
Mm.
And since you refuse to do that, I need to take that title off of you before you end up destroying yourself. Because if not, you're gonna lose yourself. Because everything you're doing right now is nothing that is benefiting the title. You're helping way too many people. You're pushing yourself way too much and way too far. And we see the fallout from that comment just after this, during the after the main event, when freaking Jey gets hit with a tsunami and all that and gets beaten down by Seth's new group. Like, Jey is not going to be going into this tag match on Saturday 100%. And Jay's not going to be leaving that tag match 100% going into Monday night's defense against Gunther. And Gunther knows this. And he makes his comments just like, you're going to keep making it easier for me because I'm not. Because since you beat me, you did something even worse now. Now I'm not going to underestimate you. Now I'm not going to be playing around. And I like Jay's response here, where instead of like the whole, he's playing upon the whole like one word, four letters, yeet kind of thing. 3 letters, 1 word, tap. I don't. This was just a really good. Like, this is actually a compelling story. Hey, have more writers like this do things for the rest of your product for other people and all that, and then book and all that. Like, I don't know. I really liked this little segment in the back. But what'd you guys think of it? I don't know if I'm the only one that thought this was like an excellent segment, but I mean, like,
I agree.
yeah, it was good.
Because
Really
I have to agree support this statement because when Gunther and Jey had their feud, their promos was very inconsistent. That sometimes it was just a lot of tapping out, a lot of choke out, a lot of Gunther try to look violent, try to be attack mode, and it didn't feel heavy when it came to Gunther feeling very dominant. But now that he lost the title, we're starting to see that dominant side again, but more of a chill temper. He has his composure back. He is mellow out. And I appreciate that for Gunther because I like what you said, Walkers. When he came in, you felt the aura. He like, hey buddy, how you been? I see you holding my title. I see you are kind of fucking up with the title. You know, you are getting a lot of bullshit around you and you're not focused. And I don't like that. And I want to take that title so you can focus on other shit and I could get what is mine. And I felt that energy, Watkins, because it made it made Gunther feel more impactful from losing the title, but also still feeling who he is and having that dominance around him. And that felt refreshing. And I do agree about the writers that wrote this. Continue writing this Gunther and Jey, just how they wrote it here, continue writing it moving forward because it felt very compelling and it felt straightforward. And I appreciate that because Jey understood. He felt the pressure. He's like, oh, okay. I'm going to still top you out, though. And you felt the energy of Jey. So, like the humor, but you still felt the seriousness. And I appreciate that as a fan.
Yeah. So, but what about you, Drop? Any thoughts on this little backstage segment?
Yeah, I really like this segment as well because this is the kind of stuff I want to see more often instead of just doing the alternative that they normally do when it comes to a lot of these segments when they yeah, so it's like having something that feels more organic, more natural, where they're just sitting in the back, because you don't normally just see Gunther just sitting beside somebody. So that in itself is something to really, look at, where he's just sitting there really trying to get down to earth with Jey, to really have Jey understand exactly what he's saying, because he really needs to take what Gunther's saying if he really wants to achieve and move forward with whatever sort of path that he's going on with his title. But I just thought that this whole segment itself was just really nice, because I mean, if you want us to really care about everything that's going on, I mean, this is definitely a way to do it. And obviously it shows that they have it in their ability to do this with other things outside this. So if you could do this, you could do it with other things too.
Yeah, like we know you can. Just do it. Okay. So, and I'm glad you used the word organic, because that's exactly how this felt. Like they're in the locker room, they're in the backstage. Of course, they're gonna confront each other at certain points, whether it's a fight or just talking like they did tonight. Yeah, it felt human. It felt human, organic, all that good stuff, all those buzzwords and all that. I'm looking forward to their match next week. If anything, I'm more intrigued about what's going to happen, especially, again, with us being 2 days out of Money in the Bank. Who knows if the briefcase holder is going to be there, and whoever that is, could they cash in that night?
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see.
That'd be interesting.
Let's move on ahead to our mid-card stories now. Not a whole lot to dissect down here either.
No.
Lyra Valkyria had a segment and copy paste. Like, I'm sorry, this was just. I mean, we had a Becky video promo where she basically is saying that she's the reason that Lyra is where she is, which, I mean, she's not wrong. With Becky, like, mainly on the main roster, like, Lyra was kind of just, I don't want to say she was floundering, but she really didn't have a good foil to work off of until Becky came back around. So, I mean, Becky, you're kind of spitting some facts here. And, I mean, Lyra comes out to the ring, she's all pissed off and all that, but, like, I don't know. I was looking at some people online, just like what they were saying about this. Like, people were saying, "Oh yeah, Lyra cooked Becky, this, that, cooked." I'm like, okay, maybe the words she said did that. Her delivery was not it though. Like, I don't want to say it felt forced, but it didn't feel, to take a word that we just said, it didn't really feel organic. It just felt like Lyra was just told, "Hey, go out there, sound mad, and say these words." And I mean, at least that was at least how I got what I got from it. But I mean, at least she's showing some sort of emotion other than, "Hey, I'm a good wrestler and I'm Irish."
I see where you're coming from in that aspect, because I remember watching Chris Renlight interview with Lyra, and she said that she's still trying to gather of how, like, for the people that she's inspired, John Cena, Becky Lynch, and a few others, of how she said that she's a shy person and she's still trying to find the right balance of her identity of how she's in the ring, because she used the example of how John Cena, Becky Lynch, and these other people that are like megastars, that they're the same people just scale up to 11 or 12. So she's still trying to gather that version of her in the ring. Because I felt you in the segment as well. When I was watching it, I wasn't locked in. I felt like we were just repeating the anger management of how these ladies are mad at each other. And with Becky avoiding the fight once again, avoiding the brawl, doing like a little hopscotch of a move, or doing a little type of Irish dance. I don't know what she was trying to portray. It just wasn't hitting. And I felt the passion, I felt the anger of Lyra, but I'm glad that she finally went to the back and hit her. Like, it felt a bit aggression, so that felt nice. But that's all I got. Drop. You feel the same as us?
I just want the match.
Yeah, like,
I think Becky's gonna win this one.
Oh, I don't even care who wins the match. I just want the match itself, because I feel like that's really what a lot of people are looking forward to now, because it comes to one of those things where it's like you can only sell the match so much until you've done everything. And they pretty much did everything that they possibly could to sell this match. They're just adding extra layers because obviously they have to, it's their job. But it's like, I just want to see the match at this point. So whatever they did here, okay, I just want to see the match because I feel like that's probably going to be the highlight out of everything that they've been doing for this round 2 of their feud. And yeah, I do see Becky winning this, and then you'll probably have Lyra go on a chase for a little bit, which I feel like should probably work out pretty well in that role. And then you obviously have to factor in when Bayley appears, because you got to throw her in here eventually. You can't just leave her as an outsider where she's not doing anything. So it's like, just looking forward to the match itself, really.
Yeah, I just like you, I just want the match. Give me the match because they are good in the ring. It's just the promos. These are just here for the freaking video package. That's all.
Yeah.
We're just getting footage for that. Cool, neat, awesome.
It's just here for the hypes.
Yeah. But you want to talk about hype? Oh, you want to talk about hype? The Judgment Day stuff.
You love the Judgment Day. Remember when there used to be hype?
When I used to call this part Judgment Day shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's just stuff.
Is the shenanigans no more?
It's been downgraded to stuff. Mainly because Carlito's gone, and Carlito took the PS5 with him. Did you notice that? Yeah,
the PS5 is not installed no more. So that means that's why he asked Raquel to help them out with a credit card and take out the dinner because he spent all his money for the PS5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he bought it off a scalper and he had to take it back with him because that's the only thing he owns now. But yeah, so the Judgment Day stuff, there was a few things that happened tonight besides a couple matches. I didn't mention it earlier before the triple threat match, but Roxanne did approach Liv and Raquel, and it seemed like she was trying to apologize for last week, with the miscommunication and all that, but cool, neat, fine, whatever. We had 2 matches, though, involving the Judgment Day. A tag match with Finn Balor and JD, and a singles match with Raquel and Kairi. So, starting with the tag match, Finn Balor and JD ended up facing the War Raiders.
Don't go with me.
Sorry,
I just read the name that you had there.
Yeah, don't Google him. Don't Google JD. You will not like what you read. And the New Day was on commentary. Now the New Day on commentary, always fun, but they weren't out there too long. They got thrown out by Jessica Carr because they were trying to. They got scared because they thought one of the War Raiders was gonna throw one of the Judgment Day at them. So they tried to retaliate.
And I believe one of them fell and flipped in the chair, and it was just like very casual how it happened. And it's like they're like, no, still don't come closer.
Yeah.
I love how the New Day try to feel relevant, but they're not getting no pop, and I feel bad for them because I know there's like they're coming out commentary to still feel like the tag team power and everything. But like, yo, this heel running for ya? It's kind of getting a snooze on my end.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. The crowd were booing them on commentary. Like they were more focused on the New Day being out there than the match itself at the beginning. But yeah, once they got thrown out, the match kind of changed a little bit, mainly because hey, now we can actually focus on the tag team match. And again, Raw weekly tag team match. Get your hot tags in. Let's go. Everybody get it. Match ends, though, with Raquel coming out and helping the boys pull out the win. So good on this. We're continuing this little story here of Roxanne helping the Judgment Day and like how good things happen when we listen to Finn. When you listen to Finn, you win. You become Win Balor instead of Pin Balor, excuse me. And we even see that with like a later on segment with like in the Judgment Day camp and all that, where like Liv confronts Finn. She's like, yeah, I can see through you. I know what you're doing, and it's not really gonna work. And I love how Finn claps back. He's like, yeah, that's fine. You do your little cute thing, but Roxanne could come out there with you. She could help you. No, you don't want that. You don't want to listen to Finn. Well, I guess you won't win then. Let's stick with the tag team match. What do you guys think of the match? Everything around it.
No, I didn't get
Judgment
shit.
Day shenanigans, all that.
When it comes to the match itself, I'm more.
I was more focused on the rope.
I mean, look, you're not wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong,
Okay.
Draw. You're not wrong. But thing is, this is the match that at least have cared for. 'Cause look, I'm happy for JD. Chat. I'm really happy for JD to be back. I love that he's getting a few pop there. Even when Judgment Day came out, when me and Walker was watching, we didn't even know it was the fucking song of the Judgment Day. It literally took me a second to like, who is this? And then Walker was like, oh, the Judgment Day. I was like, wait a minute, this is a Judgment Day song? Shit, I totally forgot. Metro Boomin, you're making new music? Please, just make a better song for them if they don't break up yet. But it just felt good. Seeing JD there, seeing Finn Balor, but we have seen Finn Balor and JD versus the War Raiders like maybe 5 to 8 times this year alone or within the past year. And I already have seen what we have seen. I just am not here for it. That's why I honestly don't have much for this match. Like the New Day happened, that's about all I got. Drop?
Yeah.
Do you have more than me, or you got the same?
I didn't really care about this match at all, to be honest. Like, it didn't do anything for me. I mean, if you want me to care about a tag division, it's SmackDown. I don't really care about anything going on Raw.
Yeah. Yep.
Outside of
pretty
that
much.
one little thing, I don't really care for that recently happened, but
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, chat. Did you see how before Vash started talking, he had to sit there and think a little bit longer about what he had to say and how he felt about all that? That's
Yeah.
the problem. That's the problem right there, is the fact that we had to think about, what can we contribute to this conversation? What can we say about this that it'll be something somewhat deep or somewhat meaningful? Like, we had to sit here and think of something to give a crap about.
Yeah, Chad, because the
And-
thing is, we don't want us to force ourselves to make the content of what we're doing. We love to discuss. That's why us 3 gentlemen, we came here to still talk about the show. That's why I have literally Damage Control behind me to kind of represent the idea of damage control of the PR Nightmare WWE, that what they're going through, the releases and everything's going on with the show. So
to constantly tease me, but
yeah, that's just a little fun little tease for Watkins in the back of my head. But it's just very disappointing that usually when you see us come on the show, you see me and Job are excited. Watkins, we wait to do the sidecast, and we have just thoughts, and we just want to cut you off. This happened. But right now, we just like, what else can we add to a show that just don't have much information even for ourselves to care for? Where we are on Netflix, we're supposed to be having a lot going on. But nah, we had the fucking Slim Jim in the fucking middle of the map and not the WWE logo. I don't know about you guys. You guys might not care about this, or chat, or anybody that's watching. But I do, because when you're supposed to be watching a marketing of a show, you're supposed to be at least see the logo of the main company that's doing the show, not the company that's being sponsored by it. I don't know. That just to me is just stupid as hell. Like when you have a 3-hour time slot from 8 to 11, but you can still end at any time, but you have commercial back to back. Like, how do you have superstars come out, one to come out during commercial and then one come out after, and then once we come back from commercial, you go straight to another commercial and don't have the other superstar come through yet? It just throws off the vibe. Pisses me off.
Yeah, and I mean, even the stuff with like Liv and Finn confronting each other. I mean, the audience is just like Liv. We see what you're trying to do here, Finn, trying to put that wedge between everybody in the Judgment Day and kind of split the group apart, or being petty and being like, oh, Liv, you're not winning, are you? It's because you're not listening to old Finn Balor. You could be listening to your old prince, but you're not. It's just like, all right, cool. Just continuing the slow burn of the Judgment Day breakup.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like 2 people trying to be sassy to one another. Like, oh, now this, oh, no, this, oh, no, like, we know what you're doing, and I think you know what you're doing to each other. It just feels like you're trying to one up each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing in the back outside the match itself, I did like, because like I mentioned last week, I like the whole direction they're going down with this thing. And I also like how they're showing that Liv isn't oblivious. Like, she obviously knows what's going on. She obviously knows that Finn's doing something to try to really manipulate the situation to have everybody turn on one another because of all the things that's been done to him. So I like how she has like eyes behind her head so she knows what's going on, because I've seen a lot of people say that maybe her and Dom are in cahoots when it comes to trying to like play things out in their favor to make them believe that they're actually following through with whatever they're doing, only to really like hit them in the back of the head when the time is right to really call them out on a lot of their bullshit. So I do like how she has a good role here when it comes to everything that's going on, because if you look at how it is, like whenever she came back and you have this new character here trying to do all these nice things, I mean, you can't really ignore that when it comes to what's going on in the background. So I do like how she has a good head on her shoulders with that. Her friend didn't later, but that's another story.
And by the way, I just love how she points out, like, yeah, you know, Dom has been getting massages, you know, tendies, all these things. I love how she just let it slide.
Sauce.
But then I love how Finn did it. Like, didn't you do the same thing when it came to Rhea when she wasn't here? You came out of nowhere and tried to take him under.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the same tactic.
Basically the same thing. So if that's the
Copy
case,
and paste.
I wouldn't
How's
necessarily
it feel, Liv?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a copy and paste segment. I would say it's more of her knowing how to play her own game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if she's played the same game before, then she obviously should know what's going on right now.
Exactly. Like, she should know, okay, well, Finn's gonna try to do it this way. He's gonna try to like weasel her in like this and all that. Like, yeah, Liv should be seeing through the plan itself. Yeah. But it's just like, hey, how's it feel, Liv? How's it feel to be? I hope we get a segment at one point where Rhea does go up to Liv and just be like, huh, how's it feel? Like, just something like that, you know?
Yeah, they're gonna have to play that eventually, because we know eventually something's gonna end up happening, and you're gonna have to throw Rhea in that spot because she's been there before, not Liv's going through it. So just to rub it in her face just because of all the nasty shit that she did to her, just to make her whole day even worse whenever that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And also remember to bring fucking sauce with those nuggets.
Yeah, right? Like, who
Please. I can't. Like,
yeah.
If it's chicken tenders,
Something.
like
there's
the fucking big ones that's flavored, then yeah.
Yeah,
if they're flavored, yeah,
flavor. But just tendies, just plain tendies. Yeah, give me barbecue sauce, rancho, sweet and sour, like at least one, or honey mustard, like something.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't the show for it, but there's different nuggets she can serve him that doesn't require sauce. But this isn't going to be an age restricted stream, so.
Oh yeah. Look, I would say. I would say what, but you know, Liv already had enough chili food that night, so.
Yeah. But Raquel versus Kairi Zayn. How was this match, guys?
Oh, I thought you said carrying cross.
I mean, that would have been a more interesting match.
Oh,
you know, I love Kairi Sane, but
yeah, she's getting her reps, but still, I don't know what's going on with her.
Yeah, I'm glad she's getting her reps, and I'm glad that like the crowd is also getting behind Kairi.
Yeah,
and you know we're still kind of keeping her and Io's friendship where they're not like together anymore. It seems like, which kind of sucks because you know Damage Control just kind of went away after a bit. They just kind of silently broke up.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Bayley. Kind of baby project just up and vanish.
Well, you know, money.
Yeah.
TKO hates it.
The real kicker is whenever Asuka comes back, like where she's gonna fall in. this whole entire thing.
Yeah. Asuka.
Yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question. When we actually did the report on last week grappling of the week of where she was supposed to be part of WrestleMania, but then she wasn't ready, so then they pushed the project for later this year. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen for her, since we had damage control and Kairi, Zayn, and her are friends. But I just love drop when me and Watkins were watching. When we saw Raquel, stretching, getting ready for the fight. I love how Watkins like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you getting ready? Hey, what's going on? And then a minute later, you have a match right now. Oh, that's what's happening.
Yeah. I'm just sitting there like, why are you stretching? Why are you getting ready for Oh, you're facing Kairi? Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, copy. Awesome. And Io comes out to help Kairi at least. That's only because Liv earlier in the night just like, oh, I'm gonna qualify for Money in the Bank, and then I'm gonna win it, and then I'm gonna cash in on you. And Io's just like, cool.
No. That's not happening. Instead, we may see Liv Morgan and Io Sky. Maybe my guess in Nia Champions. Maybe.
You know when else we saw that, Vash? We saw that like 6 months ago.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
And also, I rather her defend the actual title she has instead of going after another one.
Facts. Agreed.
Totally agree. But yeah, Raquel loses the match because they didn't take up Finn's offer to have Roxanne help them.
Yeah.
And Io coming out to even the odds didn't really help them much either. That, I will say, that kick that Kairi gave to Raquel to the post, that kind of spot always just like, it makes me go, ooh.
Yeah, I
like
felt that
like,
too.
Oh yeah, I could hear it all the way in Virginia, and they're like across the country. I was like, dang, that hurt.
And you got Io always getting Liv bloody. Whenever she comes in contact with her, she had like a.
Oh my god! I saw that forehead thing, right?
Yeah, got her in the forehead. Yeah, because she comes from a playground where, when she was a part of Stardom and everything, that's just how they wrestle. They're very what's the word I'm thinking for? They're stiff. They're very stiff the way that they wrestle. That's just how it is with them. So that's kind of why it comes through every once in a while.
That's why everyone's just chomping at the bit for Julia to get involved with like Io and all that. Like,
oh hell yeah! I believe I saw an interview with Cody and Brandy. I didn't know Brandy actually wrestled Io Sky once, and Brandy said it that Io Sky told her, "Do not fuck this up. Be good." I love that. I love how Io Sky just told her, "Do not mess this up. Do not do it."
I'll have to look up their match, I guess, later on.
Same. If you do find it, I would love to see it.
Yeah, because from what I could, or from what I've heard and all that, Io seemed to be like a big leader in like the Stardom era and all that.
Oh yeah.
And on our one quickfire segment here, we had a video package with Rusev just saying, "Hey, I'm trying to fix the week. I'm not being a bully or anything, and why are you trying to stop me from doing my job here, Sheamus? Like, why do you look so disappointed in me? I'm not the same person I was when I left the company. Came back. I'm different, and I'm basically going to destroy you."
Yeah.
I love how it cuts after that to Sheamus a little bit after that, like talking to the Alpha Academy, be like, "Oh, you guys are doing all right there. You'll be fine. Tozawa, you really stood up to him, and Maxine and Natalia, you guys are gonna be a great tag team." And I'm just sitting there like, they haven't had a match on TV since before WrestleMania, and they were basically squashed in a gauntlet match.
Yep.
Cool.
At least they've been training. At least they've been training and showing us that they had a good party, they had a good training session, so that's a good thing. I would say. Can't wait to see another round 2 of Sheamus and Rusev, because I know that's what this match is going to be leading up to.
Yeah, And the two lines that Sheamus made that did get a bit of a pop for me. I did like the whole thing about like, I bully bullies and all that. I don't know. I always like that concept of like, oh, yeah, I'm so strong that I don't bully people. I bully the people that bully people. So, don't bully people out there. But also the line he made where it's just like, yeah, uh, he wrestled outside of WWE and then lasted as long as Rusev Day did. 24 hours. And I'm like, ooh, part of me wants to go back and see how long, like, cumulative time Rusev was in AEW, because I'm curious if it was even around 24 hours. Like, if you add up all the time he had on
Yeah.
TV, like that would be kind of interesting. So any
That's
gremlins out
insane.
there that do things like that, share with the class. That would be great. Anything you guys have to add to it? I just want the match. Like, a lot like Lyra and Becky. Just give me the match.
Yeah, for this one to give me the match, I don't need the promo. I already know. Well, sorry. Less on what dropping walkers for me. Give me the match, but continue to give me vignettes and some video packages, since I'm the guy that's out of the loop compared to these two, because I don't know their history. I'm aware of the history. I just haven't seen it or was there. So actually, WWE, can I have more of the video package and vignettes so I can know more of their history? Because that's what Sheamus did. Hey, buddy, I've seen you from back and then. I would like to see that.
What about you, Drop? What you got?
Yeah, I just want the match at this point because I know what these two guys are capable of. I already know they're going to put on a good match, just like how I know Lyra and Becky are going to put on a good match. And this is the kind of opponent that Rusev really needs. Like, if you really want to establish him this time around, because Sheamus is set. He gets the reactions. He delivers whenever he goes out there, which is why he said in his segment, he always delivers, banger after banger. So if you really want to establish Rusev when it comes to his second run in WWE, you really need to have a match with him and Sheamus to really get the people's attention this time around. Because when it comes to Taizawa, when it comes to Otis, those are guys that, I hate to say it, people don't really take as seriously just because of how they're booked on the show. Not saying it's bad to have them there, but it's just how certain people see it. But if you put it at somebody like, I'm just gonna throw a couple examples just to, like a Sheamus, a Gunther, etc., so on, a Drew McIntyre, a Jacob Fatu, people in that sort of thing. Obafemi, if he ever comes up to the main roster, people like that. You put those two against each other. That's why it's like big man. It was a meaty man slapping meat. That's essentially what this is, and a lot of people eat that up.
Big meaty men bumping meat.
Yeah, that's essentially like what it is, and people eat that up every single time. And these guys are two powerhouses. They'll keep hitting each other harder and harder, and they'll just keep going through this match nonstop, like they're literally trying to break each other apart, like limb by limb. And I am looking forward to this whenever it happens. And if I would say if they orchestrated these PLE cards a little bit differently, if we didn't get like the typical 5-match format, if he wanted to do something a little bit different, like maybe a 7 or 8 matches, I would have thrown this on there just to have something fun,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because like right now,
for Money in the Bank, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Well, like, that's the thing. Right now, for Money in the Bank, there's 4 matches, and it's like, okay, are both ladder matches gonna go 30 minutes each, or
That's what I'm
something? Like,
thinking, because it's like you got 4 matches, so I would assume 10:30's the possible deadline if I would have to make some sort of prediction. So you're gonna have to figure out how you're gonna orchestrate things there, because you got the ladder matches. We know those are gonna run on for a bit. Tag match, I would assume so. It's the main event. Becky and Lyra thing, I don't really know.
To get 15 minutes, I'll say.
I would say, yeah.
12 minutes?
Because the thing is, too, like, the Money in the Bank starts at 7.
Yeah.
We'll be done by 9. Imagine a
Maybe
2-hour show
9:30.
at 2 p.m.
Get all the
That'd be nice. That would be nice.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Or
I mean,
they may add something on Sunday. They could also add a tag team match from Sunday. I mean, from Friday to SmackDown.
Yeah,
They could add something on Saturday.
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
I'm not even sure what it is.
We'll I don't know either. Just, bleh. But you know what? That's Friday. That's Saturday. Today's Monday, or well, now it's Tuesday because
Yeah.
at least on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast watching, hey, how's it going? Hopefully, you guys enjoy your light that's still outside for right now. But yeah, that was Raw this week. You know what, Vash? Why don't you go first? Give me your final thoughts on Raw this week.
Look, Raw was Raw. If you like Raw, you had a good time. If you didn't, it means you had a bad time like us, where it was not as melodramatic, not as hype, where it could have been a lot better. But it was story progression, but not story progression that we could have enjoyed. It was not a really good development. It was very stagnant. But we hope in the coming weeks it could improve. Maybe the flaws or errors of having the PLE so short between each other, because after Money in the Bank, we're gonna build up to Night Champions. So let's see what they do there. And after that, build up for Saturday Night Main Event, and then finally promote and continue to build up for Evolution. So it's gonna be very intriguing of where we get up to from here. But I have high hopes for what the next coming weeks will be, but stay tuned for Grappling the Week, our prediction video, our SmackDown, because we're gonna have a lot of shit talking for the next couple of days of our coverage for this week of professional wrestling.
Glamour.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, drop late on me. How'd you feel about Raw tonight?
So when it comes to Raw itself, I mean, there was only a few things I really liked throughout the show when it came to what we discussed earlier. Like I spoke of before, I liked how they showcased Stephanie tonight. I thought it was smart that they had a little vignette, pretty much just showing an introduction of her character, showing where she started, pretty much working her way up to the top. I like how they do those sort of things so people can understand her a little bit better, and they also know that she's important, so it's not like you're just throwing her out there at her entrance that she goes in there, wins the match. You show a vignette of a person, people look at that and like, okay, I need to pay attention to this woman. So I like how they did something like that. I will have to say, when it comes to the men's triple threat, one thing I did forget to mention is I do like how AJ Styles is at least inserted in something important when it comes to like main event talent.
Agreed.
So that's something I can say I like, that he's around main event talent when it comes to the whole alliance thing that's currently going on. So because that's something I missed for a while, so I like how he's, you know, sort of like, okay, he's around them at least. We don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but he's at least around main event players when it comes to like a CM Punk and AJ Styles. I'm not throwing the other guy in there. And also when it comes to Kairi getting her reps, just that's just one thing I really want to see, because I know what she's capable of, and the way they've been presenting her over the past couple of years, I haven't been the biggest fan. So hopefully we can get on track with that, because the way that they present her, that's not Kairi Zayn. I know who Kairi Zayn is. Please continue that trend when it comes to how you book Io Sky and Asuka. Like, I know they can do it. And like Watkins said earlier with the whole segment with Gunther and Jey, we know you can do this shit. Don't be fucking lazy.
Yeah.
You want to be the big dog, you want to make a lot of money and sell out these outrageous prizes for whatever fucking reason, but at least when it comes to the story thing, we know you can do it. You took one simple segment with Gunther and Jey and made it very memorable and very organic. If you can do stuff like that, you can apply that on to everything else. You have all the time in the world to really do what you want with that, so don't pretend that we don't know what you're doing, because we do. And
like, man, I don't know. Like, I've been having just this dark cloud over WWE for the better part of a few months, and I mean, the past 24 hours has not helped at all. Like, there was a little bit of me that was just like kind of coming back from, being like, okay, you know what, things are looking a little better. Looking forward to a few things and all that, but like, you know, mainly last night, just with like the news of Ruth getting canned.
oh yeah,
That's just, how do you not resign that man? Whatever. I get it because of like a business aspect, but like at the same time, why not negotiate a new contract?
yeah,
Do something
Legend
different.
Steel.
Yeah, I actually will shine some light on that too, because I know you brought it up earlier. That's the one that caught me off guard, because that's the one guy I thought was going to be like a lifer when it comes to what he does in the company. And I thought when I saw that initially, I thought, okay, is this going to come out and then maybe a couple hours later he was going to get a Legends deal? Because he's the kind of guy I can see getting a Legends deal instead of like a regular contract like a lot of these other people do, because that's pretty much his status at this point. So he got a Legends deal. That's what I was originally thinking. I was like, okay, that's fine. But it's like getting rid of him, like, it's just very strange. And you obviously know a lot of people gave a shit about it. I even saw one report come out where it's like, oh, we thought our truth was going to be there forever, but now that we're looking at how everything was turned out that way, people were saying, now we know that nobody's safe when it comes to what's going on here. You take one guy like that and he's gone. And also you have the stuff at Carlitos, which I get, people are upset with that. He was a nice comedy act and everything, but it's just the truth thing that really caught me off guard more
Very
than
shocking.
him. And then I know I saw earlier with the whole Valhalla thing. I mean, they weren't really doing anything with here, so I wish the best for her, whatever she's trying to do next, probably focusing on whatever's going on with her family. But it's like, that one didn't really surprise me because I saw that coming sooner or later. But it's like, yeah, the truth stuff was it's just so random. It's just like, and then you have that whole thing on Friday where it's like you had that match with JC Mateo and that's it. Excuse me, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, like that's the thing, because like you have him setting up with John Cena and all that.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I don't know, man. It just sits ill, and I mean, and it's nothing against like Carlito and Sarah Logan either. Like it's nothing against them. It's just when you look at them, like those two, and just how they've been booked for the past like year plus. Kind of surprised they made it past the first round of cuts they had this year. I know that kind of crossed my mind. I'm like, huh. So we're gonna keep Carlito a little bit longer. Okay, hopefully he does some more in-ring stuff, and we're gonna keep Sarah Logan for a bit longer, even though she hasn't been doing much of anything, if at all. Okay, fine. So like, yeah, those two for me, I agree, didn't really surprise me. It was just the R-Truth thing, and yeah, we'll shed more light on the conversation on Thursday, I think, because like I think this is one of those things that we're gonna get more information on as the week goes on.
Yeah.
And I mean, who knows? There could be other people that end up saying, "Oh yeah, we don't want to resign," or companies saying, "Hey, we don't want to
Yeah.
resign." But like the reason
Also,
behind.
I was just gonna add that even from Busted Open, even Bully Ray said he thinks John Cena should cut a promo saying that he's the reason that R2 was released by WWE as part of the storyline to ruin wrestling. Ron Killings was released because of me. I called The Rock. The Rock released Ron Killings, which I like that Bully Ray brought this up, because if John Cena is gonna be talking about ruin wrestling and he has the title, he could talk about having this power. If they want to do something involving ruin wrestling or the storyline and make it still feel important of this heel run, I'll say that is actually a good concept.
Yeah, and we can dissect that more later on and all that. Just tonight, it just like, and I brought up that whole tangent to just kind of be like, there was already just like this negativity already going into the show.
Yeah, the sour
and
taste.
then
crowd.
you go into the show, and oh yeah, even the crowd too. Like, oh, that's the other thing too. I didn't mention this during the Lyra part too, but like the good part here with the crowd and all that. Like the crowd they kept chanting about truth. Like there was like "What's up" chants. There were "We want truth" chants throughout the night. Like
I saw Punk said something. I didn't see the video, but I saw when I was going through my phone.
Punk made a comment. It was something like, "Oh, you guys are chanting for a guy that's not even here," which I was kind of just him kind of poking the bear a little bit, because he knows exactly what he's doing with that comment. I mean, how many times throughout the years have we heard CM Punk chants in WWE?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Like,
that
Punk
makes sense.
knows what's going on. Yeah, like, but we got to just shut up and watch. Apparently,
Yeah.
Fuck us, I guess.
Fuck
But
us fans, right? The hardcore
no.
fans. Instead of us paying $600, instead
Mhm.
of paying for SummerSlam, a 2-day night event, that even far enough nosebleed tickets for a 2-day event, almost $800. That's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, again, I brought that up because like there's already this negativity going in from a lot of people, myself included, and for us to, because WWE had to have known that this was coming, like just this at least outpour of negativity, especially after having your own employees on social media being like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then to give us a show like this with a lot of just cookie cutter BS, um, a few good segments here and there, but it's just like a lot of this was literally this Raw was just like a this could have been an email kind of thing. Like some of this
That's
could have been an
crazy.
email, maybe even a Zoom call. You know what? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. It could have been a
Just
Zoom call because at least on a Zoom call for business, I can at least sit there without my pants on and nobody can see.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I went there. We're done with this. I'm done with Raw tonight. We're just going to end the show there until Grappling with the Week on Thursday when we talk more about these contracts, about these other things that are going on in the world of wrestling. And of course, stay tuned for the channel for our predictions video going out for Money in the Bank. But again, that is our show tonight. So thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day, night, or morning, whenever you're watching this, to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed or hated what we had to say, because hey, hate or like your your consideration, your communication, your engagement is all good for us. But whether or not that's it, if you enjoyed what we had to say, we have tons of social media accounts. All of those ads are in the yellow below. You can see them. You guys have eyes. You don't need me to read them out. Just use them. Use that reading comprehension. Go on all your social medias. Follow us on there. Use the hashtag as well, known as Weebs of the Ring, to engage in the conversation. Help us out. Let us know any feedback that you guys have. Anything, any way we can improve these shows. Because hey, we are nothing without you guys tuning in, and we are always looking to improve our game and make things even greater than they are. Weebs of the Ring is presented by Anime Studio. Thanks, of course, to our production team for all of their hard work every single day of every single night of every single week, month, year, whatever have you. Thank you so much for your help. And thank you once again. And as always, people, no stunt grannies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good night, rest well, and we will see you on Thursday for Grappling with the Week.
Buenas noches.
See you guys.